Welcome again to my session about how to use GitHub to improve the lifecycle of application in Power Apps. You already know some information about me. I'm Microsoft Business Application and Office Development MVP. In this slide, you can find some information to contact me, like email, website, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So let's start with the agenda. In this session, I want to talk about the application lifecycle management in Power Platform. And then we can go deeply how to implement the application lifecycle management using GitHub and GitHub Action. Later, I show you a simple demo on how to use GitHub Actions. And then at the end of the section, I'll talk about the Power Apps language tooling. It's a tool that are able to extrapolate the source code of Power Apps Canvas application. Later, I'll show you another demo. So let's start with application lifecycle management in Power Platform. But first, you know that the Power Platform, and specifically Power Apps, is a service that make the possibility to every people that have just a little bit knowledge of how to program some application, or some concept of how to call Excel function to create application by using a simple tool. So a pro dev like me, or a citizen dev, or an IT admin are able to create application inside your company. But what about the application lifecycle management? So I'm a programmer, of course, and when I build a software, I use, of course, the application lifecycle management because I need to implement some concept like the governance, of course, the development of the application, and of course the maintenance of the application. It's very important to implement all these topics: governance to manage the security, the user access, the change tracking, deployment, of course, all the aspects of the application development, like planning, design, building, testing application, and then the maintenance. We have some tools to implement the application lifecycle management, of course. And we need to understand how to use and which tools we can use for Power Platform. In this slide, you can see a schema of all the steps when you have to create an application. It's not important on a real coded application or on a Power Apps application. First of all, you need to plan your application. You need to make some interviews, and then take the requirement, and then start to code the application. Of course, in Power Apps, it's a no-code or low-code application framework, and then the code that you can write in Power App, it's just a simple set of function that come from the same syntax of Excel. And then when you have finished to build, to code your application, you need to usually to build your application. So if I use Visual Studio, I need to build by using Visual Studio and .NET my application. In case of Power Apps, you need just to package your application because there are no real build process in Power Apps. Package your solution. It's basically save the application in the cloud or in your desktop, and in case of the desktop, you have a file MS app. And then, of course, you need to test your application. You are able to use some automatical test tasks in Visual Studio But in Power Apps, you need just to test your application by using the human iteration. And the Power Apps have some integrated tool to check if some function are not configured correctly or something like that. At the end of the test, you need to release your software. There are different ways to release your software. Basically, in Power Apps, you need to push as a first version, the main version, your application, and then you are able to deploy. So deploy in Power Apps mean, like, for example, to deploy the single application or a solution, a Dataverse solution, into a specific environment. Later, I'll show you. And then there are different steps like operate, make some fine-tuning, make access to some users or something like that, and monitoring your application. And then if you need to improve, again, to change your application because the specification are changed, you need to plan again, and then code, and then build, and then test, and then release, and deploy, and again, monitor, and start this cycle again. It's very similar. These steps, it's very similar from real coding application to Power Apps. So now, how to implement application lifecycle management for Power Apps? To implement the application lifecycle management, we need to use some things, like, for example, environments. Environments are, the spaces inside a specific organization. You are able to have more than one environment, of course. And we use the environment to store not only data, but solution and applications. We need solutions. Solutions are a particular way to create a package that contains application, data, connectors, and all things regarding the Power Platform. We use a solution because it's the atomic way to move not only application, but all the dependency of an application from one environment to another one. Another thing is the source control, of course. The source controls, it's a piece of, it's a service that are able to versioning all the files that your application was built. For example, inside a Canvas application, we need a lot of files that we can store inside a source control. But in case of solution, the solution are built by using different XML files. And then we can store not only the file that contains the solution, but the source code of the solution inside a repository. In this case, we will use the GitHub repository. And then the last part, it's the automation. Automation tool and task are used to validate, import, export, pack, unpack solutions and application, of course, inside, so from our source control to a specific Power Apps environment and vice versa. In this schema, I want to show you just a simple schema on how to use application lifecycle management with Power Apps. So, first of all, the makers need to create or extend application. And then, by using some automations, we need to take this application and put inside, so the application it's deployed inside an environment. For example, the one environment named development environment. And then with some workflows, we are able to pull the solution from this environment. And using the Power Apps CLI, we are able to unpack the solution file and then split all the source code that compose the solution inside all the artifacts inside the source control system. Here, we are able to change the files or work with another citizen developer or another developer that need to change the application. And then at the end, we are able to push by pack again from the source control, so from the source file to a real solution and push inside a test or production environment. To do that, inside GitHub, we need to use the GitHub actions. First of all, why we need to use GitHub? Because you know that Microsoft has bought GitHub, and then I think that GitHub in the future will be the main way to store the source code for Microsoft and non-Microsoft project. Recently, I don't remember, I think 1 year or 2 years ago, GitHub have added new functionality as GitHub Actions. So GitHub Action help what? Help to automate tasks inside the software development lifecycle. So in application lifecycle management. All the GitHub actions are built by using a specific language named YAML. It's a human-readable markup language, and basically it's very simple to use. Later I'll show you a demo. And all these files, every file, it's just a workflow that implements some, you're able to see in this image, implement different jobs. And for each job, we are able to split each job inside more than one or more than one steps. And for each step, we are able to write actions. In this case, Microsoft have recently added to the GitHub action some action to work with Power Apps, and later I'll show you. When we define this workflow, this file will save it inside an .github/workflows folder inside your repository, and then every workflow are able to start automatically based on a specific event. For example, when start on a pull request, or when we release a new release of the repository, or something like that. But of course, we are able to start manually this workflow. When you start this workflow, for each job, you have a specific runner. So one runner, it's just on a virtual machine. You are able to choose from Windows machine or Linux machine. And then inside this machine, you are able to execute every action that you have inside the job, the job that you have to start. GitHub action for the Microsoft Power Platform. First of all, these actions are in preview. So you are able to use in production, of course, if you want. But you have to remember that these actions are in preview. At this moment, we have some few actions like the WHAML, the import solution, the export solution, then unpack solution, the pack solution. All these functions need to authenticate, of course, to the specific environment to operate with this environment. And at this moment, Microsoft say that in the future this part will be changed. At this moment, these actions are able to authenticate to the Power Platform just using all, the username and the password authentication. In the future, Microsoft extend this way to authenticate to the Power Platform by using a client ID and client secret, so an application authentication. But at this moment, it's not possible. In my demo, I show you how to use, of course, username and password. Basically, you need to create a specific user that have all the permission to write, to read and write inside the environments in the Power Platform. And then, of course, you need to remember to disable the multi-factor authentication for this specific user, because the GitHub action are not able to use the multi-factor authentication to authenticate to the Power Platform. So the first action, it's used to verify the service connection by connecting to the service. The second, it's a function to import a solution into a specific environment, or another function, action, it's to export a solution from a source environment. Basically, it's a way to, again, import or export solution. Another two, it's the unpack solution and pack solution. The unpack, it's the action that are able to take a solution file and decompose into a multiple XML, but not only XML. There are some, it depends which objects are stored inside a solution, but basically are composed by XML files, JSON file, MS app files, and more. And the pack solution, it's a function that can be used to start from the source control and then create a zip file that contains the Dataverse solution that you can use to import solution in a specific target environment. So let me show a simple demo. Of course, I'll start to create an application. Basically, I create an application. I use it on a Canvas application, but it's the same if you use the model-driven app. I create the cost estimator by create a Canvas app and then start to use the phone layout, and then I choose this cost estimator template. This is the app. I'm able to click on edit and then show you the application. This application, it's the standard template application, and basically it's an application that are able to collect some information from user and then store this information inside an Excel file. It's not the good way to save information, but for a demo, it's okay. Save some information inside an Excel file. Okay. You remember that if you want to use, yes, close. If you want to use the application lifecycle management, you need to create a solution. In my case, I create a solution cost estimator, and I put inside, by click on add existing Canvas app, my app previously created. Okay, another thing is the environments, you remember. So I need to have 3 environments. The first environment, it's the dev environment. This environment, it's used by the citizen developer or the pro developer to create application and then test on the developing mode the application. Another one, it's the environment that we use as a build environment. Later, I'll show you by using the GitHub action why we need this specific environment. And then the latest environment, it's the default environment, so the production environment. Of course, in this demo, we have 3 environments, but we are able to change the YAML file to implement the workflow in a different way. Basically, we need almost two environments, the dev environment and the production environment, of course, because it's not a good way to build application directly inside the production environment. Okay. Another thing is inside GitHub to have a GitHub repository. I already created this simple repository. It's a private repo. And the purpose of this repo is, of course, to have a way to store the source file and then manage all the history of the changes of these files. And the second purpose is to have the GitHub actions. So let me show. Of course, we start to create a new repository. It's very simple. You're able to go to GitHub, go to the new repository, put here the name, make it public or private. Of course, if this is a private repo, because if you use a Power Apps for your company, you need to store private in a private mode your source code. You are able to choose some information like add README, add Git in your. In this case, we don't need to add a Git in your file, and choose a license. It's a private repo, and you don't need to choose a license. So when you start on when you click on create a repository, you are able to have a repository like this one. Okay, another things that we can use later, it's the secrets. Basically, these settings, it's a good way to store the secret information inside a repository. For example, you remember that for use the action to interact with the Power Platform from GitHub, we need to use username and password. It's not a good way to store password inside the YAML file of the GitHub action. And a good way is to store inside this secret, because all the variables are encrypted, and it's not possible to read when you create a new secret and then save. It's not possible to by using API or the UI. It's not possible to go to read this information. The only thing that you can do it's remove or update these settings, but it's not possible to read. The only way to read is to use inside the GitHub action, for example. Okay, let me show you here inside the actions. We already have 2 workflows implemented by the GitHub action. The first workflow is the export and branch solution. It's implemented by this export.yaml. And of course, if you go here, you remember that we have a .github/workflow. You are able to see all the files for the GitHub action. So the first is the export. Basically, this is the YAML file that you can start directly, so manually, not by using an event for this example. And then inside here, we have all the jobs and then steps that contain the action to connect and check if on a specific environment by using this username and the password that come from the secrets, these connections are available, and then we can use the export solution and then use the unpack solution to store the file that are stored inside and a solution that come from the Power Platform inside this repo. So I'll go directly inside here, the export and branch solution. This is the name of the workflow. And then we can start here the run the workflow. If we click here, run workflow, after some few seconds, the workflow will started. And come on, the demo effect. Come on. We need to attend some seconds. Okay. So you know that this is the name, the trigger manually run by my account, the date of start, and the status. Previously it was in queue, now it's in progress. So if you click here, you are able to see all the jobs, and inside the jobs, you are able to see all the steps and all the action that we have inside this workflow. You remember this action is to connect to a specific environment, and in this case, this is the URL of the dev environment. And then when the environment have exported the solution, we'll start to unpack solution action. Okay. And then we export this cost estimator.zip solution, and then a branch, to create a new branch, prepare it for a pull request, and then make the checkout. So all the steps are completed. You see the green flag here. And of course, you are able to come back. Okay, start two times the same workflow, no problem. Okay, delete. Okay. So now you are able to come back here and then see here that we have a new branch. This is the default branch. We have a new branch that have basically the name of the solution, the date, and the time, the server time of GitHub. So if you click here, you are able to see this branch. If you click on Solution Cost Estimator, you are able to see the Canvas app and some information like XML, background image, URI. We can click to see. It's just on a file without extension. We are not able to open this file. No, don't worry. And in this case, the MS app file. So in this case, we don't have the source code of the Canvas app, but later I'll show you how to unpack this file. And of course, you can have other files like customization and solution XML. Of course, you are able to go here or by using, for example, Visual Studio Code, by clone this repo, make some changes manually, and then save again to the repo. Because the next step, it's go to the action and execute the release solution to prod. So let me show you this file first. The file is implemented again by using YAML, and it's run like the previous file on a Windows machine. It's not possible at this moment to run this action in a Linux machine, but Microsoft say that in the future this action will be available directly inside the Power Apps CLI, and then you are able to use in on a Linux machine. Why Linux or Windows? Basically, because by using Linux machine, you are able to speed up the process to execute this action, because it's more fast to use on a Linux machine instead of on a Windows machine. But at this moment, only Windows machine. Okay. Another thing is this workflow will be triggered automatically, workflow dispatch, on release, and specific when you create a new release. Later, I'll show you. This is all the steps that we have inside. So we have two jobs. The first one is convert to managed, and the second is the release to prod. Basically, we use all the action that Microsoft have implemented for GitHub action to interact with the Power Platform. Basically, the pack solution. In this case, we start to take the solution folder, solution cost estimator, generate an cost estimator.zip. Of course, you are able to change, it's a text file, you are able to change this folder, the name of the zip that you want to create, and all, of course, you are able to change the environment, the username, the secret, the password, and all the parameters, just by edit this file. So, first of all, pack the solution. Generate the zip solution as unmanaged solution. Then import solution as unmanaged to build environment. You remember that we have a build environment. And after that, we export the solution as managed. So again, the environment URL, it's the build environment by using the username and password. This is the solution, and then we save at this path the same solution, but in this case as a managed solution. So you know that the managed solution, it's a solution that it's not possible to change again. So it's fixed. The user are not able to modify the object that it's present inside an unmanaged solution. And then upload the ready to ship solution to GitHub artifact store. Basically, it's an action to store this file inside the artifact of GitHub. The second job, it's executed again in a Windows machine. Take the file from the artifact store and then import the solution to, in this case, the production environment. Again, by using a username and a secret, and by selecting the solution to import. There are some flags like force overwrite. If the solution is already present, this flag are able to overwrite the solution and then publish changes to the target environment. So, to implement these two actions, basically, you need to go to this repo, the Microsoft/Power Platform-action-lab, and you are able to find the export and branch solution and the release solution to prod. It's the template of the workflow, because you are able to see that we need to remove this placeholder and put the correct environment URL, correct username, and you are able to change the solution name and the solution file name, okay? So you are able to copy this one and create inside your repo. So I already tested previously, and I want to show you, I'm start from the dev environment, and then if I go to the production environment and I go to the solution, okay, I'm able to see that we have the cost estimator, and if I click here, I'm able, okay, some some problems, don't worry. We have the same application inside the production environment. I think that this is the old version of the application. Let me click here. Okay, this is the correct application. So let me start. I want to show you, I want to remove this solution from the production. And come on. And I want to remove, okay, this one. Basically, I want to clear the production environment. Come on. Come on. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, no problem. Okay, no applications. Okay, and okay, no problem. So I want to come back to the dev, and I want to go to the applications. Remember that this app, it's present. It's the same if I go inside the solution. I'm able to edit this application. And I want to make just a simple change. And then I want to show you all the workflow. For example, if I go here and make the very important change, I changed the title of the first screen. I'm able to publish. Okay, and then I'm here inside the dev environment. You remember that I need to start by actions. I needed to start this export and branch solution. So first of all, run the workflow, and then we have to attend some second to start and about 1 minute and a half to execute this workflow. Later, I want to show you how to start automatically this new workflow by creating a release of this repo. I'll take some time to start on a new instance. Okay, come on. Okay, now it started. What we have to do at the end? Of course, we need to go to the specific branch and then create a pull request to put this branch to the main branch, because we need to create a new release of the application. After the creation of this release, we are able to start automatically the second workflow and then deploy automatically in production this solution. So let me show if okay, it's in an export solution. Later we have to unpack and then branch solution. Okay. So this screen, it's very interesting because you are able to monitor every execution of the workflow and then go to a specific step and then check all the messages of the log. For example, if you have an error, you are able to go here to read the log and then understand what is the error, authentication error or something like that. Okay, so now we can go again here. I go to the latest branch created 35 seconds ago, and then I'm able to create a pull request. I'm able to write some comment, but I just create a pull request, and then I merge this pull request. So now if I go here directly on the main, I have the latest source code of the application. Now I need to go to release and then create a new release, like put the version number 8 with title changed, and then publish this release. Now, if I go to action, I'm able to see in a couple of seconds. Come on. Okay. Come on. Let me check again. Yeah, I create the title changed. If I go here again. Okay, title changed. Now it's in queue. If I click here, I'm able to see two objects. This is the two different jobs. You remember? The first job, it's the job that runs some action like pack solution, import solution as unmanaged, export solution as managed, and then upload to the GitHub artifact store. After that, you are able to come back again here, and then we can go to release to production to, it's not possible now, when start, to monitor the release to production. After that, we are able to see in the production the new application that have the title change. I have some topics again to show you. We maintain this execution in background and then come back to the slides. Another thing is the Power Apps language tooling. You are able to, you see that in the source code, we have a Canvas app in the solution. But
Fabio, can you hear me? I'm really sorry to interrupt. I think there's something problem with the mic or something. It's your voice is cracking for some reason. Maybe you want to plug in and plug out once again.
Let me change. You hear me?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I repeat. Sorry. You know that in the repo we have inside the solution we have a Canvas app, but we have only the package of the application. We don't have the source code of the application. Microsoft have released this tool still in experimental mode. It's not possible to use now in production. And this tool that available at this GitHub repo, basically it's a tool, it's a .NET tool that are able to take the Microsoft MS app file, the Canvas file, and unpack into the source code. And again, we are able to do the same, to take the source code and then generate again the MS app to import again inside the Power Apps. So let me show you a simple demo. Okay, so we have this Power Apps language tooling. You need to build first this, and then inside the bin debug you have this exe file. So basically with PowerShell, we needed to do to execute just 2 commands: the pasopa.x unpack, and you need to pass the path of the file. And in this case, okay, I take this cost estimator MS app, and then if I click on Visual Studio Code, I'm able to see all the source code of the Canvas app with all screens, with the entropy JSON file, the data sources, and another JSON file. So you can do any changes, but you remember that if you change the source code, it's possible that if you make some errors, you are not able to re-import the application inside the Power Apps. And then after your changes, or just if you want to have the source code into a GitHub or a different repository, you can use this tool. When you come back and then have again an MS app file, the only things that we have to do is to execute the same command but with the unpack parameter, and then pass, the pack parameter by passing the path of the new file and the path that contains the source, the folder with the source code of the Canvas app. If I execute this one, I'm able to have the new application created, the new file created, and now I'm able to import inside Power Apps. So come back here. Let me show. Okay, all the workflow is executed. If you go again here, title changed is executed. Now, if I go here and then I go to the default environment, I don't know why we have these 2 applications. In my previous demo, I have the same application, cost estimator, without this one. Just a little, I don't know, error. And now in production, we have the new application published automatically with the new changes. In this simple demo, just the change of the title. Okay, so it's very, very powerful. So just a recap. So you have to remember the application lifecycle management. It's very important not only in coded application, but the same for Power Apps application, because it's very powerful to store the source code. It's very powerful to manage the ALM to deploy in a different environment automatically. You already see this one in the previous demo. And it's very important when you build an application and you have a team composed from with more than one developer, of course. You can use GitHub and GitHub Action to implement this kind of the workflow. And you are able to use the Power Apps language tooling to unpack and pack the source code of the Power Apps Canvas application. So remember that this is in a preview mode, but I think that in the next month, Microsoft released the final version of this action, and you can use without problem in production. So inside this slide, you can find some links. Basically, the 2 links from the docs.microsoft.com that explain all the things that I covered inside this session. And the last link is the Microsoft Power Apps language tooling repo to download the source code and then build the tool to pack and unpack the source code for the Canvas application.